Somehow, video games remain at the center of the right-wing culture war. And it kind of makes sense if you know the history of Gamergate, the fact that Steve Bannon used to run illegal WoW gold selling and farming operations out of China, got found out, and the WoW community banded together to fight against gold sellers and botted gold farmers, and it was this sort of unified movement of gamers online making their voices heard despite being a pretty small group of people overall. This told Steve Bannon that gamers, in particular, any angry, stirred up online group of people, could affect great change with how loud they can be. And from there, we saw right-wing pundits start investing large amounts of money, hell, even the Russian government, investing large amounts of money into propaganda that tries to push gamers into the right, usually with the goal of supporting Donald Trump. So it shouldn't surprise us, but video games continue to be attacked left and right for being woke, but more so than just games being attacked lately, it's been the studios and publishers behind those games. Most notably, Ubisoft, as of late, or Ubislop, if you're a Twitter user. Now, don't get me wrong, Ubisoft has definitely taken some L's in more recent years, especially when it comes to their writing quality, and I'd say that the Assassin's Creed series is kind of a great example of it. Are there any bad Assassin's Creed games? Unironically, no. Listen, burn me at the stake for this take, if you will. This is a genuinely hot take. I don't think there are any bad Assassin's Creed games. However, the series has definitely taken a bit of a downturn, and it's emblematic of the direction the studio, Ubisoft, has gone in, or all of Ubisoft studios, the whole corporation has gone in. However, most recently, Ubisoft released a game that most of the gaming community has been quite excited for. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Resynched, a ground-up remake of maybe the most broadly beloved Assassin's Creed game. Like, among fans, 2 or Brotherhood would probably be most people's favorites. Perhaps 3 is pretty up there too. But among, like, everyone who's played the series, it really does seem like it's Assassin's Creed 4. Like, a lot of actual AC fans love AC4. A lot of, like, very casual fans love AC4. It's just so many people will be like, "Oh yeah, I love the pirate one, but I never played any of the others, or I didn't like any of the others." So it was a big deal they were remaking this particular AC game. It's also my personal favorite, primarily because of the setting. I love the Caribbean setting. I'm from Florida, so it hit close to home, literally. But this remake, and the fact that Ubisoft is seen as sort of a pillar of wokeness, it's made it a target for these right-wing grifters and chuds. And that's what we're going to be looking into today, because Synthetic Man, one of the biggest grifter losers on the far right, made a video criticizing AC4 Black Flag Resynched as the most pointless remake in history. And make no mistake, this is very much like with the chuds trying to claim that the Odyssey is a failure or will flop, where it's now seeing record-breaking ratings and record-breaking sales. It's a pretty big L take. This is a very much not the popular opinion among gamers right now, but let's hear his critiques of this supposedly pointless remake. Now, let me just let you guys know, nothing about this remake is pointless. AC4 and most of the old Assassin's Creed games really struggle to run on modern hardware and software. It's not catastrophically bad yet, but we're getting there. And a really good example of this is the lack of, especially on PC, with AC4, controller compatibility is really finicky. Really fucky to get working and set up. Performance can be jittery and weird on Windows 10 and 11 unless you go into details and you disable all but one CPU core, CPU 0, and then re-enable them all, and then, like, okay. That'll usually fix the problem in the old versions of the Anvil engine, but man, I could go on for a while, but as someone who actually plays these games and returns to them to replay them, I can tell you that with each passing year, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag has gotten less stable to run on modern systems. It's an old Ubisoft engine thing. It's like the game itself is degrading over time despite being software. It's hard to explain. Making a remake that is not just a modernization and has better graphics, but also basically makes it run like a modern game that's made for modern hardware, and even future-proofs it to a large degree, that alone was worth it. Future-proofing this game, the most beloved Assassin's Creed game alone made this remake have a point.
Let's parry that. Oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. This is exactly what I saw in a trailer, that they gave health bars to wild animals. Yeah,
just shoot it, dude.
Sony has announced they're stopping the production of discs completely. Xbox just laid off over 4,000 employees with Double Fine and Ninja Theory going independent. And yet here I am reviewing a remake of a 13-year-old Ubisoft game. Clearly I have my priorities straight. Well, truth be told, as I've said many times before, Ubisoft is essentially the arch nemesis of my channel. And as a slop reviewer, I feel it's my...
Yep. Ubisoft has become their arch nemesis. It really is like the pillar of wokeness in their eyes.
Duty to once again review the slop. I don't think I need to have a really long-winded intro to get to the point here. Should you buy this? Hell.
Isn't this the same guy that was complaining about Zelda? Yeah, this guy got absolutely dunked on for shit, like really, I think it was Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. He hated it, and everyone was like calling him a clown for his terrible review.
No, it is absolutely a demake to its core. On the surface, it looks like a slight graphical improvement to the original. Yes, if you're really picky about graphic fidelity, you could easily argue that the character models are significantly improved, but I would argue that the censorship in the form of breast reduction for multiple characters and adding in a gay Dutch character for completely...
Oh my god. Anne Bonny's breasts are no smaller, by the way. They're just a little more covered up. And I will say, you want to know what made me upset about them covering up Anne Bonny a little bit? It wasn't the fact that there was less titty. That wasn't the part that upset me. The part that upset me was that this game came out when I was 13, and now that character design is considered, like, outdated, so to speak. It's considered like, you know, we've grown past this, and it's like, bro, I was 13 when this game came out. What the fuck? I'm that old now that we're redesigning characters from games that came out when I was younger? Because they're not, like, they don't fit with the times anymore? Damn. Way to make me feel old, Ubisoft. Fuck.
Pointless missions, which is obviously done for ESG, DEI reasons, was not worth the minor gains and hyper-realism.
They're still doing the ESG, DEI bit. And I guarantee you these people still can't define what ESG score is. Because none of these people trade stocks. They trade crypto and NFTs.
But the overall visual aesthetic is in many ways just a side grade. In fact, in some ways, it's a downgrade depending on how you feel about oversaturation, really harsh shadows. It's lacking any kind of distinct style, just like any other modern game when they attempt to mimic reality as much as possible. But visuals aside, there really just is no reason to remake.
That's like an opinion thing that I'll grant to him just because maybe he does feel that way, that like the original had more of an art style than the remake does.
A game from 2013. Assassin's Creed 4 didn't have any jank that would put off casuals and zoomers. No, it controlled...
What? No, come on. Don't rewrite history to glaze old Ubisoft. Mind you, 2013 Ubisoft was... it is unbelievable to me that 2026 internet is pretending like 2013 Ubisoft was not constantly getting shit on by the internet. 2013 to 2014 Ubisoft is the same Ubisoft that downgraded the graphics of Watch Dogs and broke the internet by doing it, by the way. Like, that is the level of rewriting history that these people are doing. And this guy's young enough, like, he's what, 22? I feel like he might be young enough that he wasn't even sentient when the original game came out. You know?
Pretty much exactly the same as most modern games. Ironically,
he's not
I
sentient
think this
now,
remake
to be fair.
controls worse in the combat department. Yeah, the combat is basically a one-to-one copy of Assassin's Creed Mirages, which I'm sure most of you never played that game, and nor should you, for that matter. But all you need to know is that it's jank parry slop with absolutely no skill whatsoever, which, yeah, okay, you can say that about most of the Assassin's Creed games in the series. The difference is the flow of combat is completely fucked up here, and I'll try to go into detail about that later. They also completely cut out the entire multiplayer mode. Obviously, that's a big part of what made the original game worth $60 back in 2013. Now you're paying $70 for this, missing a major game mode. And the funny thing too is, despite not even having a multiplayer,
most people never played the multiplayer, and also this new version has a lot of new content. I'd say that makes it worth the price. Also, I like how we're complaining about the price. Mind you, this game came out at $60. We're seeing games drop at like $80 and $100 now, and Ubisoft was like, nah, we'll keep it at $60. And yeah, there are optional microtransactions, but hey, physical copy, $60 price. What are we complaining about?
mode, there are still microtransactions. You can buy $10 cosmetics. There's $90 worth of skins and resource pack / map reveal crap for a single player game that released 13 years ago with less content. There's also multiple minor gameplay features.
There's less content in the remake? I've already played... I have played pretty far into the remake so far. I'm at the Mary Reed reveal part in the remake playthrough because I'm playing it all on stream only. There is more content in the remake than in the original. Like, yeah, you could pick up people's weapons and stuff. Like, that's what he's showing off here. That's not substantial content, okay? The fact that, dude, the moment that I started getting new cutscenes, I was like, bro, what the fuck? I did not expect them to be this frequent. And it's not just new cutscenes. It's, like, actual in-depth, like, fleshing out of characters from the original.
Features that have been cut entirely because they would require effort, like picking up enemy guns. Yeah, that's not in the game anymore. You can't even fight with your hidden blades either. No, it's clear that this
also, Ubisoft has been very open that this game will continue to receive patches where they add fan, like, requested features, because this game's kind of being treated as a testing ground for, like, the ideal Assassin's Creed experience. They've already updated the game to add a bunch of new takedowns from the original and from other Assassin's Creed games, the really popular takedowns people liked. And they've said they will likely be adding fist, hidden blade, and, like, sort of foreign weapon combat. That is to say, like, you can pick up an axe or a musket and fight with it. So these things can all be added in the future, and Ubisoft has stated they will, and they already have with some of these things. So, I mean, does that make it useless? Or does that mean you've got a reason to come back and replay the game again in a year? Because it'll play different.
Remake was just shit out so that Ubisoft doesn't go bankrupt. And 2 million morons bought this day one. I'm sure by the time this review comes out, it'll be at 3 or 4 million. This is why gaming sucks.
Oh, it's already way higher than that. Yep. Cope. Go woke, go... Was it broke? Was broke the talking point? It's broke, right?
This is why all real gamers pray for a video game crash. I know there's going to be plenty of people defending this
All real gamers pray for a video game crash. All real gamers pray for a video game industry crash. This is the problem with gatekeeping fandoms or genres or hobbies. The people who gatekeep would rather it be burned down and destroyed than become popular.
Remake saying it's 90% of the same game, and yes, there are some new missions added, though most of them are complete shit. And yes, the ship combat is mostly untouched. It feels very similar to the original, maybe slightly less polished, but ultimately, I have to say it was still very fun. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But at the end of the day, this remake...
I really like that with the puckle, or not the puckle gun, the swivel cannons, you actually disable cannons on the deck of the enemy ship by specifically weakening and targeting them. It means that you're, like, reducing firepower. The more you use your swivel cannons, you're reducing the firepower of the enemy ship, which was not really a mechanic in the original. At least I never noticed if it was. I don't think I ever noticed that I was, like, taking out cannons, but in this remake, maybe it's the graphics that make it more clear, but you are disabling cannons when you hit certain parts of the ship. And you're weakening your enemy, both their health and how much firepower they can put off if you're aiming right. And that's really... I like that a lot.
Remake shouldn't even exist. The entire...
He's just, like, shit-talking the game with these nonsense points no one agrees with, and here I am just talking about how great it is, and actually giving examples, in-depth mechanical examples.
Point of remakes is to improve on the original in some way. This doesn't.
No, actually, more often than not, the point of the remake is just to deliver, ideally, an identical feeling experience, and to modernize it so that people can play it on modern hardware. Like, think about Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. Do you think the reason why a lot of people waited for the remake to play it was because of the graphics, primarily? Or do you think it's because when you boot up, if you want to play Metal Gear Solid 3, you like the original, you got to emulate it, I think, on PC. I don't even know if it's got a PC version. I emulated it. You've got to emulate it. The controls are wonky as fuck. Like the pressure-based controls that are really, really wonky to work with if you don't rebind them to your triggers because you don't have pressure-based buttons or pressure on buttons on the face pads of modern PlayStation controllers. Dude, it's so janky to play OG Metal Gear Solid 3 on modern hardware and modern software. The remake made it accessible to so many people. You could just buy the game, download it and install it off of Steam. You plug in your controller and that shit fucking works because Steam's got that all built in, and you just play the game. That is the same thing that Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Resynced finally allows for. Because guess what? If I wanted to watch a friend or recommend a friend AC4, either they need to play it on console, or if they get it on PC, they need to jump through a bunch of hoops getting it working on a modern computer with modern drivers, modern Windows, it's a whole thing. I have to like guide them on getting it working and not buggy and fucked up. This remake just makes the game accessible in a way that it wasn't for a lot of people and would continue to not be as the game got older.
It's the same fucking game, but worse. I could easily just end the video there, but I'm sure you want to hear details if you didn't watch my streams. So, much like my Deep Rock Galactic Road Core video, I'm just going to break this down to the good, the bad, and the ugly. Just try and keep things brief so you have a good idea of the few improvements in this remake and all of the various downgrades. So without further ado, here's Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. I do want to make it clear that this is not meant to be a review of Assassin's Creed 4. If you want to hear my brief thoughts on it, yes, I think it was the last great Assassin's Creed game, and in hindsight, I think it's actually my favorite game in the series. It's the only one I've played all...
He doesn't even have, like, the up-to-date normie opinion. Like, he doesn't even have the up-to-date normie opinion, because now opinions on, like, AC Unity have completely turned around now that the game's been patched to hell and back, and it's considered to have some of the best combat, parkour, city design, level design, content, like density, storytelling, mocap quality. Like, everything about that game has basically been massively reevaluated over the years, and more recently it's considered one of the best Assassin's Creed games. In fact, most fans lately have been referring to AC Unity as what Ubisoft needs to go back to and use as the template for future Assassin's Creed games. But when it launched, it was a buggy, broken mess, so it had a very negative initial reception, but it's gotten a very positive one over the years. Every Assassin's Creed game is starting to get that effect. Right now, Odyssey and Origins are starting to get a lot more positive talk around them because people are giving them a try, and they're ending up pleasantly surprised after all of the overt, like, very over-the-top negativity. This tends to happen. When you're someone like Synthetic Man and you take part in these, like, highly exaggeratory hate movements towards media, and then people try it and find out it's nowhere near as bad as you guys pretend it is, they end up becoming fans. This is why so many people are like, man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking about trying my first Ubisoft now with this new AC game. It's like, yeah, and they're gonna play it and they're gonna realize it's not slop, and they're not gonna take people like this seriously anymore.
The way through twice, mostly just because the ship combat is incredibly novel and unique even to this day. The fact that Ubisoft wasted like 10 years in development hell making Skull and Bones and couldn't even recapture the feeling of this game speaks volumes. The ship combat in this game has held up incredibly well, and I'm not going to consider this a positive for the remake, but it is mostly untouched, which is definitely a good thing. The only real problem I found is that the camera is kind of fucked for certain things. Like when you attack the forts, a big part of the gameplay is dodging the mortar fire, which was marked with a giant red area, so you know to steer out of the way. Well, in the remake, the camera's not zoomed out, so it's actually really hard to dodge the mortar fire, which means you're going to take a shit ton of damage. But I'd say other than that, ship combat was still...
That's a fair complaint, actually. I think I noticed the same thing, but also I think the way you're supposed to dodge, or at least get a wider view, is either literally looking around or going into travel speed. But then again, travel speed might send you flying into the mortar.
Super fun. And just like the original version of the game...
Is there not an FOV slider? Fuck, you're right, there is. Maybe I should turn up the FOV.
In the remake, the actual assassin bits, like the story missions, are kind of the worst part of the game, and the general assassin gameplay is incredibly tired at this point. If you've played one Assassin's Creed, you've played them all, and there's like 30 of these games. I wouldn't say Assassin's Creed 4 really offered anything unique on that front. It was mainly just the pirate experience that was great, and it's still good in this, but I'm not going to give the remake any credit for that. So let's just get to the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, so starting off with the positives, since this is...
I'm not going to give the remake any credit for doing a good job of making the experience of the original game it's remaking feel as good as the original game. I won't give it any credit for that.
Probably going to be a fairly short list. I think one of the biggest improvements, though some people have argued this is actually a bad thing, I'm going to choose to look at it as a good thing. The tailing missions have been more or less removed. Except for the ship tailing missions, they still have those.
Thank God.
All the ones on foot have been replaced with eavesdropping sections, and this game has been dumbed down to such a severe degree that even if you manage to fuck that up, let's say aggro...
Dumbed down? This is the most popular... Dude, everyone hated how fucked the original tailing missions were. They were a great idea, but they were too buggy and badly executed to be good. People hated them. Everyone hated them. So they didn't even remove them, they just altered them so you could have you could actually have the experience that was intended without that, like, instant fail state if you get spotted. Like, okay, but it's dumbed down. Like, see what I mean? These people pretend like they're the real fans, the real gamers, but have you seen a single Assassin's Creed fan praise the tailing missions in any Assassin's Creed game? Much less the original 4, because the only time I've seen tailing missions praised in an Assassin's Creed in my life from anyone has been the new ones in the remake and how they've been altered. These people pretend to be fans, but will drive the things that they are LARPing into the ground. Is Synthetic Man a gamer? Is he a fan of video games? Probably, but he's also a grifter, and because of that, he has to play a character. A loser, snarky, right-wing chud who hates everything new and thinks Ubisoft is the devil because that's what gets views and that's what makes him money. But it's a sad existence to just hate the thing that you love internally. But that's his life choice. Who am I to stop him? Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and a comment down below. I really do appreciate it, and it means a lot. Subscribe and ring the bell icon if you want to see more from me in the future, and hopefully you'll see me in your feed. But thanks for watching as always. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a good one, and I hope to see you again next time.